Part 10, and between the difference people on the right and on the left. So in the past few videos I showed you an example of what corporations are doing, basically killing off and gobbling up the whole market for themselves. And once they have the market, now you're forced to work for them because this is the line that you were doing, or this is basically something that you went in doing not knowing that it's going to screw you up eventually. But now you have no choice, you don't know anything else what to do, or your schedule is based because you thought you'll be able to do this. Like in my case, I thought I'll be able to leave the city, and until I build myself up, I'll be able to do Uber. But I didn't believe that I'm actually not going to have enough money even to service my vehicle or to eat. I'll have to decide. Some days I filled up only half a tank, so I have the rest of the money to buy food. Simple as that, food. I didn't even buy a new tire for the one that was bumping because I didn't have enough money, and I said it's only bumping, it's not an emergency. So why did I talk about these big corporations? Because people on the right are for capitalism, and people on the left, and I'm sorry it took me so long to get to the point, but it's important to understand, and people on the left are for socialism and for big government, that the government should be able to control, which we have to understand. Capitalism is the right way to go when it comes to small businesses, but when it comes to businesses like Uber and Lyft, let's even add Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Lowe's, McDonald's, Burger King, and whatnot, all these big companies, they should need to have a different set of rules, because what they're doing is they're killing off the private market. You see, I travel a lot because I love traveling. I travel a lot in the United States, but at a certain point it gets already tiring in a certain way. It gets boring because every town that you come in will basically have the same few stores. It usually starts with a Dollar General or Dollar Tree, and then you see the same Walmart, the same Target, the same Home Depot, the same Lowe's. It's convenient in a certain way, but it gets tiring seeing it everywhere. Basically every town in the United States looks the same. Okay? But think about it, because of all of these corporations now, they are basically big monopolies now. You can't even go in competition with them. You can't even open up anything. So when you go to a little town, you walk down the Main Street basically is dead, because people are not going to Main Street because they cannot compete with the prices or the beautiful service that these big corporations are giving. Now what are these big corporations doing? They will pay a person like $10 an hour or even less. Now here's people on the left, they're like, yeah, that's why we need minimum wage. But here's what's happening actually. You're imposing a minimum wage on big corporations, which is a very good thing, by the way, which I believe the minimum wage should not be $10. Minimum wage for big corporations should be the same what an average private company would pay a person. So let's say if a private company would pay a person, let's say if an individual would pay for a person $25 to $30 an hour, the minimum wage for that line, let's say for the food line for a register, should be $25 to $30 an hour for these big corporations. Don't let them walk away just by paying minimum wage, because they're not getting hurt that much from minimum wage. But what's happening is, if you make it one size fits all, you're basically imposing minimum wage on high corporations. But now the small business, the mom and pop shop was trying to build up, already has that minimum wage now. They can't do it. For them it's too much. $10 an hour is a lot for a mom and pop shop to pay for a register, but this big corporation doesn't really touch them. So you put them in the same box, which is totally wrong. Okay? Now you're gonna say, now wait a minute, so the mom and pop shop should have an option to pay somebody $5 an hour? Yes, even $2 an hour. Why? Because a person in a mom and pop shop says to someone, listen, I'm gonna hire you, I don't have money to pay you. The better job you do, the more money comes in the more I will pay you. So that kid, the 18 to 20-year-old who starts working at that shop, knows the area, and he has his own idea, he or she has their own ideas. And basically, they're gonna start working, and they're actually working up the shop, and they start getting paid more and more and more. It comes to a point where that person says to the owner, listen, I built up your business from scratch. You see what I did? And you're still paying me $20, $25 an hour. I want to have partnership with you. Otherwise, I can go open my own place. And eventually they become a partner in the business because it pays for both of them. The owner that hired them for $2 an hour doesn't want to lose him. And this person says, if I can be a partner here, why would I open up my own thing now? So that's why small businesses should not be hit with the same rules as big corporations.